Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're embarking on, well, a really fascinating journey into some truly ancient source material. We've got excerpts from the Genesis of creation, Eden, man, and woman. And look, this isn't just an old text, is it? It's foundational. It's shaped so much culture's beliefs, how we even think about human origins. So our mission today is to really peel back the layers of this story. We want to unearth some of the maybe surprising details and the profound insights hidden in its very specific language.
Yeah, what's really compelling, I think, is just how meticulous it is. Even in a fairly short piece of text, it kind of lays out this deliberate blueprint, not just what was created, but the precise order, you know, the specific environment, these unique elements that really define this particular account of beginnings. So we'll be exploring how these seemingly small specifics actually contribute to its enduring power.
Okay, let's dive in then. Let's unpack this. Our source, it plunges us right in at the end, sort of the big creation process. It says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them." Simple enough. But then this really remarkable detail about day 7. "And on the 7th day, God ended his work. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it." Now, that immediately sets a tone, doesn't it? Completion, sure, but also sacredness for that specific day.
It's very striking, isn't it? Because it's not just stopping work because you're tired. The really profound insight here seems to be that rest isn't presented as an afterthought or, just a human need. It's shown as an inherent part of the divine order, right from the get-go. And to sanctify it, well, that means setting it apart, giving it a special sacred purpose, a unique status. So it really elevates rest from just stopping to this blessed foundational state. It suggests a kind of rhythm for all of creation, maybe even a model for human life itself.
Okay, so we have this divine pattern established: work, then sanctified rest. The text then shifts, and it paints a picture of the earth before humans are really engaged with it. What was that like? This initial pre-human landscape, our source says, "And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew." Why? "For the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground." That sounds, well, a bit stark maybe, untamed. But then there's a solution given for the dryness, a very specific one. "But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground."
And it's fascinating how this points to, a dependency on natural processes, this mist, and also the deliberate absence of human involvement at this specific stage. It's like this purposeful, almost organic watering system. It sets the scene, really, for the next big act, which is the creation of man. And the text is incredibly direct about it. "And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." That duality is just key, isn't it? It's very physical from the earth, from dust, but at the same time it's deeply spiritual, animated by this divine breath.
Right. And where does this newly created man go? This is foundational. The text immediately puts him somewhere specific, somewhere remarkable. "And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed." And it's not just any garden, is it? It's meticulously described. It has every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. Sounds amazing. But then 2 trees get singled out. They stand out. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Exactly. And the presence of those 2 particular trees right in the middle, it immediately brings up the idea of choice and potential consequence. This garden, it's not just a place of provision, abundance everywhere. It's also a place where limits exist, where knowledge itself is presented as maybe a double-edged sword. It definitely foreshadows the critical decisions that are going to shape the human experience right from the start.
And the geography, it's surprisingly detailed, isn't it? Our source mentions a single river flowing out of Eden, but then it splits into 4 heads, and it names them. Pison, which it says compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. Specific resources. Then the Gilon, compassing the whole land of Ethiopia. Hiddekel, which goes toward the east of Assyria. And finally, Euphrates. I mean, this isn't some vague mythical place. It's described with geographical markers we recognize and valuable stuff.
Indeed, yeah. Those concrete details, the rivers, the precious materials like gold, bdellium, onyx, stone, they're incredibly significant. They really ground the story. They give it this tangible, almost, map-like quality that would have resonated really deeply with an ancient audience, you'd imagine. It's not just a fuzzy idea of paradise, it's very specific. A described location, full of resources that suggest, inherent value, desirability. It really makes the narrative feel rooted in a kind of historical landscape even if its precise location is still debated today.
So man's in this incredible specific place, this garden. What's his job? What's his immediate purpose? And the Lord God take the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Okay, so it's not just paradise for kicking back and relaxing. It's a place of responsibility, cultivation, care, work even. And then comes the critical command, the single command. Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, so abundance. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. There's the limit. For in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Wow. A really clear choice with an absolutely clear ultimate consequence stated up front.
Yes, that particular command is just absolutely central to the whole framework of the narrative. It's a singular prohibition, right? Smack in the middle of overwhelming abundance. And it highlights not just a direct instruction, but also the establishment of boundaries and the concept of ultimate accountability, you could say. It really sets up this idea that even in a perfect world, human freedom operates within defined limits, and that choices have these profound existential consequences.
But even with this seemingly perfect setup, amazing garden, clear instructions, the text tells us something is still not good. Our source states, "And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him." Alone. Interesting. So how does this search for a suitable helper, a helpmeet, begin?
Well, what's remarkable here is the methodical approach the text describes. It tells us God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, okay, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. Now, this isn't just a creature parade, right?
Yeah.
It's an act of participation. Man is involved in the creative process. It shows his dominion, his intellect maybe. Naming things is significant, yet despite all of that, for Adam, there was not found an helpmeet for him, which powerfully highlights the unique nature of the companionship he actually needed. It had to be a match that was fundamentally different from any animal.
Right. So none of the animals fit the bill. They weren't the right kind of helper. This leads to an even more unique and frankly intimate act of creation. The source says, "And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib, which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man."
Wow. So this creation isn't from the dust again. It's directly from the man himself.
Yes. And this raises a truly profound point, doesn't it, about the implied relationship, the interconnectedness between man and woman, given how she's created. She isn't a separate creation from the ground like Adam was initially. She's presented more as an extension or maybe a perfect corresponding counterpart, a completion of man, perhaps. And that phrase, helpmeet, it's archaic, but the sense isn't inferiority. It's more like someone who is a fitting partner, perfectly suited, equal, corresponding to him. And Adam's reaction, it's immediate. It's really striking, he exclaims. "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." Instant recognition.
Yeah.
She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. He sees her as fundamentally like him, a part of him, an echo of his own being.
Exactly. And that immediate recognition, that shared essence, it directly informs what comes next. That statement about human relationships. "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh." That phrase, cleave unto, it signifies a really profound, almost inseparable bond. And one flesh speaks to this deep, unifying intimacy. It's like a blueprint for human relationship, one that prioritizes this new primary bond above even the parent-child one.
And the very last line we have from our source today, it offers this powerful, almost poignant final image of their state, their initial state. "And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed." That suggests what? Complete vulnerability, transparency, trust. No sense of judgment or self-consciousness or any need to hide anything.
Wow, what a deep dive that was into this foundational narrative. We've uncovered not just the sequence of events, but some really surprising specifics, haven't we? The geography, the very specific nature of creation, the profound implications for, well, human responsibility, relationship, that initial innocence.
This account, with all its rich detail, its deliberate progression, the powerful symbolism, it truly offers a profound framework for trying to understand origins and maybe the earliest human experiences as depicted here. It's definitely far more than just a simple story. It's packed with layers of meaning. So what does this all mean for you listening? As you reflect on these ancient words, maybe consider how those specific layered details we talked about, from the naming of the rivers to the unique way woman was created, how did they contribute to the overall power and the enduring meaning of this story? Does knowing these specifics change how you perceive the narrative? or its lasting impact on our cultural understanding of identity or purpose or relationship? What does it prompt you to consider about humanity's foundations?